Thanks for tuning into this special edition of Prime Sports Speed. I'm Greg DePalma. Eric Smith will be with me shortly from racereviewonline.net. And our special guest, new to the NASCAR Xfinity Series, motorsports driver Sage Karam.
How did the Xfinity deal come about? How the relationship start, and how the sponsor come around?
I always wanted to kind of dip my feet in the stock car world. I just never really knew exactly where to go, who to contact. The only teams I really knew about were Penske and Ganassi as far as knowing personnel from the IndyCar side. So, it is two completely different worlds in that aspect. And as I'm going on in my career and I'm not racing full-time in IndyCar, I want to be racing, more on a weekend basis. So I think now definitely be more of a priority for me to, get in a car whenever I can and try different things. I really wanted to just keep trying different things and new cars, new tracks, stuff like that, different types of racing. So I think this year after the Indy 500, after finishing 7th, I think it opened up doors, it put me back in like kind of on a radar. Talking to my buddy Marco, he was doing those SRX races and I got to go out and watch him win at Slinger. And that was a lot of fun. And just seeing how much fun he's had and just the amount of fun I had watching it, I really just kind of got interested in, hey, maybe I want to give something like this a shot. So, we made some phone calls and got in touch with the right people. And, was fortunate enough to land at Jordan Anderson Racing with Montage Mountain Resorts here in Pennsylvania, so it was a lot of hard work to get the deal done, but, we got it done and I'm just really fortunate about it. Most of the people I spoke to on the NASCAR side and the IndyCar side, just a lot of people were pointing me in Jordan's direction. So once I was able to get on the phone with him, I found out quite quickly why, people had such high regard for him, and just really thankful he's given me the opportunity.
Now the sponsor.
Montage Mountain is a fun place to be. The view never gets old. I encourage everybody to get to the top of the mountain and take a look at the valley and what Northeast Pennsylvania has to offer. Being on the mountain and hearing the lifts in the background, slashing of the powder, the wind in your face, and you always hear kids screaming and having a good time, smiling. Go up to the tubing hill and people are always having a great time up there, hands up and yelling their way down. It's something that I live for and people should come out and experience. Montage Mountain has 26 slopes. There's beginner terrain, intermediate terrain, expert terrain. We've got White Lightning. It's the steepest slope in Pennsylvania and second steepest slope on the East Coast. Our terrain varies across the mountain. We've got beginner slopes up top and expert slopes down the bottom. It gives you the opportunity to get the best of both worlds. Montage Mountain's been a staple in the area for so long. I'm just happy to be part of something that I love to do. Montage Mountain makes such an impact on this area. I just have such an affinity for being part of that, and I want to grow the place and grow the area, give people things to do, and Montage Mountain is the place to do that.
Did you ever go there as a kid?
So it's not right around the corner, but it's not too far away. I'm going up there in about a week and a half to do like a meet and greet with everybody up there. I'm going to be playing some golf and just, having a good time up there. So it'd be cool to check it out. I heard it's a beautiful place. And like I said, with it being a Pennsylvania, a Pennsylvania business in place, it's really cool to get the support of local people in Pennsylvania. I think a lot of people have always said in the area that they wish I was racing full time. And, we've always looked for what companies and stuff could I match up with and make those deals happen. So it's really cool to, get somebody on board from the area.
Do you feel like a Hoosier coming back? I mean, you're kind of like an adopted Hoosier these month of Mays, but now here you are back again with a Pennsylvania tie.
Yeah, it's funny. When I was in Indy, I kept joking that, I was an all Indiana kind of sponsored car and had a PA posse kid driving it. And now it's kind of Pennsylvania kids having some Pennsylvania sponsors on board. So it feels right. It feels like we are coming home. But, we are racing in Indy again. So just racing at Indy in general is always super special, whether it's the road course or the oval or in also whatever car you're racing in. So I'm just really excited. I'm happy to be in a Chevy again. I've done 8 Indy 500s with Chevy. Now I'm going to make my Xfinity debut with Team Chevy. So that it's a great relationship I have with them, and like I said, just going to Indy, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, it's just a lot of fun always, and it means a lot to do well there.
Are you where you want to be right now, or do you also feel that there's another level that you should be at this point?
I mean, obviously, I think every driver wants to be racing full time in whatever they're racing in. I don't have that luxury right now of racing every single weekend. So I gotta, fight tooth and nail to figure out, what's the next opportunity for me. And then when those opportunities do come, I need to totally maximize on them. So it is tough. Do I think I want to be where I am right now? It's hard to say, but, I always have put all my trust and love into God and knowing that, there is a plan, and for some reason, this is where I'm at right now. And who knows, maybe this is the start of something great, doing this Xfinity race with Jordan. So I'm not sure, what the future entirely holds. All I know is, I'm training really hard. I'm getting ready to do this race, and I want to go in there with, a totally clear mind, ready to learn, ready to go, and, get the best result possible I can for myself and the team. And hopefully it leads to some more opportunities down the road.
In motorsports, it's really about sponsorship, isn't it?
Yeah, I think for sure it was a kind of a wake-up call a few years ago. I came through the ranks, and a lot of people told me, if you win this championship, you're going to move up to this. You win this championship, move up to this, and then eventually you'll get to here, and you're going to have a great career. And I felt like I did a lot of those things and checked a lot of those boxes I needed to check. And then I got to where I wanted to be, and I quickly learned that, it doesn't matter how many race wins you have or championships. If you don't have the funding, you're not going to be racing. So for a while, it took me a long time to grasp that concept. And that's when I started to struggle to get on the grid, more often than not. And then I'd say about 2 years ago, I really started to take it serious about, trying to figure out a way to get on the grid and making more phone calls, trying to be better about how I can figure out how to help a sponsor out. You got to get creative nowadays, sponsors like, the business to business opportunities. It's not the days of the 90s and the early 2000s where, people are just writing checks anymore. It's they want to see how it's going to help them. So you really do got to get creative with it. So, it's been hard. It's almost like it's 2 jobs in one. You got your off-track business and your on-track business. And if your off-track business isn't booming, then unfortunately you have no on-track business. So I learned that, and, have been working hard at that the last couple of years. And I think that is a testament of being able to do this race. I think me 3 years ago or 4 years ago would never have this opportunity. And I never did have that opportunity because I didn't really look into it or work on it as hard as I should have been. And, now I am working on it, and I still think I'm young enough. I'm still only 26 years old that I can still make a pretty good transition or switch to something, or even make a good career in IndyCar still if that opportunity came about. But what I know is I'm taking it race by race and opportunity by opportunity, and just going to try and do my absolute best.
And Sage, how big is this weekend in a few weeks? You got 40 Cup teams, 40 plus Xfinity teams, probably 27 IndyCar teams, all in one place on one weekend, and you're running the Xfinity race. Is this kind of like one big job interview per se, that you got your name in front of all these different teams?
Yeah, it is. It really is a huge weekend. Like you said, having all these series in one place, there's a lot of eyes there. And for me, I think people are already tweeting me about how they're interested in seeing how somebody that's doing a crossover does. So I think there is extra attention on that. And then obviously I have my support from my IndyCar fans and friends and stuff that will be there, and they'll be keeping an eye on me. So we'll see. Obviously, is it like a tryout? I think every time I get in the car is like a tryout and a job interview. you're only remembered as your last race. And, fortunately for me, Indy 500, and we did well there. I think for myself, I always put a lot of pressure on myself going into the Indy 500, knowing it's my only race of the season. And if it doesn't go well, I have to wait, 365 days to do it again. Whereas like if you're racing full time and you have a bad weekend, you can just kind of rebound next week. So there is a lot of pressure with that. And well this year, this race coming up, this Xfinity race at Indy, I'll probably have pressure, but I feel like the pressure I have is just all self-inflicted. It's just me wanting to, perform at a level that I expect from myself. But I do think like the pressure isn't going to be as immense as say Indy, because it is something that is so new to me, and I don't really know what the expectation is for me in this race.
And I got a few inside the car questions. I was talking to Jimmy Johnson, probably January-ish, and he was saying he didn't want to run any NASCAR races this year with respect to the IndyCar because he had to relearn everything. Like the braking's different. Sight lines are going to be different. You've run the road course before. How different do you expect the stock car to be? Granted, it's heavier. You probably have to brake earlier. You're not going to be going as fast, but you got fenders on. Like, are you going to have to relearn some driving styles here that are kind of break some habits that you might have kind of got over the karting and road to Indy and IndyCar days?
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite different. I mean, it's going to be pretty substantially different, in my opinion. I actually spoke to Jimmy as well about a week and a half ago and just kind of picked his mind. I figured he was probably the best guy to talk to because he's driving the current car that I'm, used to. And, he was just in NASCAR last year. So I figured he was the guy to talk to. And he gave me some really good stuff to look for, stuff to not do, stuff, to work on. And, I thank him for that. He's been a great help, and he's a great guy. And so, I think for me, the biggest difference is going to be braking. The car being so much heavier, it's about twice the weight of an Indy car. So when you have something that's heavy like that, it's harder on the tires. It's harder to stop. And when you have all those things that come into play, I'm not used to any of that. I'm not used to not having, wings and downforce. And I'm just really used to being able to go in as late as you can, hit the brakes super hard, downshift super quick, and get out of the corner. Whereas in this, it doesn't seem like that's the case at all. It's longer brake zones, earlier brake zones. So, I think it is going to be quite different. But I think I have a good black book that I can open up and talk to people that have made similar transitions. And I also do believe that because I'm not full-time and I haven't been full-time, I think for a guy like me that isn't so used to racing an IndyCar every weekend, it might be slightly easier to make a transition. Whereas like a guy that's been, 10 plus years in IndyCar every year, every weekend, might be harder for them to break habits and bad habits in a NASCAR or good habits in an IndyCar maybe, but it might be hard for your brain to unlearn those things. So I'm hoping that that's the case. And I did some sports car racing a couple of years ago, and I'm hoping that's middle ground between the two.
And this is one of the weekends NASCAR is going to have practice, but couple weekends they'll have practice, but it's only 50 minutes. So can you go down a wrong rabbit hole almost in those 50 minutes, knowing that you don't know what to expect? Or this is also a good car.
I'm going in with, I need to get as many laps as I can possibly do in practice. And I think that means probably making the least amount of changes you can make and just turning laps and getting comfortable. I think I know I have full confidence in the team that they have a great car. They've showed that this year at other road course races and ovals with, a couple top 10 finishes and, 8th at COTA. So I know the car is good. I think my biggest thing is that I just don't really know what is supposed to feel good, right? Like, I don't know if this thing being this loose is good. I don't know if if it's got understeer or push, if that's a good thing either. So I think my job is just to tell everybody what I'm feeling and trust that, we're going to go in the direction that they think is good. Cause I don't know, that's like a big question mark for me. I don't know what changes are the right changes to make for something I'm feeling. I don't know if I'm feeling something that's good or bad. But for me, I think the biggest thing is just to get as many laps as possible in that first session and just keep getting comfortable. Talking to Jimmy, he said that, the tires are really good for like the first 2 or 3 laps. And after that, it's all about, maintaining the tire life and survival. So I think I probably won't in the first practice be able to optimize, the lap time with the tire. But hopefully come qualifying, I'll have a better understanding of how to get everything out of it. And, I'm pretty positive it'll be first lap out is going to be your fastest. So I just got to, trust in the process and learn as much as I can and try to apply it.
And a quick follow-up, that we talked about some disadvantages, the things you don't know what to expect. But what are some advantages from running the IndyCar on that road course that a lot of these other Xfinity guys, other than last year's race on the 4th of July weekend, have not been on this track before? You've got plenty of experience. Is there anything from an open wheel car that you could take over to this race that maybe you can use for your advantage?
I think obviously the big thing is I know the track quite well and I enjoy the track. Every time you go to a track you don't like, you're kind of already down in the dumps and it's just not enjoyable. So I love this track and I think that's a good start. As far as what I can take from IndyCar, I think the biggest thing is just racecraft on a road course. Like you said, a lot of these guys haven't run on this track in particular, but a lot of them haven't run a lot of road courses in general. So although I might not have the experience in a stock car, I do have the experience in, situations in a race on a road course, where to place a car, how to over under people, stuff like that. And, I've watched the race last year on YouTube and I watched it live, but I've been watching a bunch of onboard videos and stuff and just kind of seeing how these guys drive against each other and what they do. And I paid close attention to Allmendinger's video and watching him come through the field. And it was interesting to see how, he handled traffic and stuff like that. And you can definitely tell there's guys that are really, really fast. And then there's some guys that are just kind of a little bit uncomfortable. But I feel like that's my advantage is that I'll probably just be more comfortable on the track, but, less comfortable in the car. So as long as I can get comfortable in the car, I feel like the rest is, I'm comfortable at.
And I got one more follow-up too before I let Greg wrap it up. You're the new guy on the block. Do you feel comfortable mixing up with those guys? Just trying to know that I want the respect from these guys, but also know I've got a job to do and I want to do well for this team. How do you balance the aggression levels?
It's racing, and my number one objective and goal for the team is to, keep the equipment in good shape. But, if you are in a position to maximize a potential result, if you're running in the top 5, top 3, going for a win, and you don't know how many opportunities you get like that in life, and you gotta go for it. So, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna purposely dump somebody or anything like that. I won't be scared to mix it up with people out there for sure. I've always been kind of known as being a little bit aggressive, even in open wheel. So I'm excited that I get this opportunity to be able to mix it up with some of the best in stock car racing. And, I think it's going to be a lot of fun for me. I did a lot of sports car racing. I did rallycross racing, and I feel like those cars can kind of race similar to how the stock car is going to race, in the sense where you can kind of door bang a little bit and get away with things like that. Whereas you can't really do that stuff in open wheel. So I know how to do that cleanly. Obviously I don't want to drive over my head and make any enemies or anything, but if it's coming down to a last lap pass, for the win or for a podium or something, like, I'm going to go for it.
I like the positive answer there. First Xfinity race, if I have to pass for the win. I love that. I mean, I hope that's the case. I really do, Sage. I mean, we'd love to see that.
Show up to every race I do with, the want to win. I think if you're not showing up with your expectation, the highest it can be, I don't really know why you do it, So I expect to win at every race I enter in. And I feel like that's why I put pressure on myself. I just want to do the best job I possibly can.
All right, Sage, I know you got a busy day. We wish you the best of luck. Hopefully we get an opportunity to talk to you again. and we can't wait till you actually are not only on a podium, but you get another victory under your belt. That'd be great. We'll be rooting for you.
Thank you. I just got to quickly thank everyone who put it together. I mean, it was a long process of getting this together, and a lot of hard work of a lot of people. Just got to thank Jordan Anderson for giving me the opportunity. Chevy, obviously, I've been with Chevy for 8 years in IndyCar, so to do it in Xfinity is a lot of fun. Montage Mountain Resorts, PA company, so that's a lot of fun, and just really blessed for them. Scott White Career Institute, another PA company, came on board. Can't thank them enough. ISMI Springs, they're a longtime partner of mine in IndyCar, so they're coming over with me as well. It's great fun. Pro Resources Staffing Solutions and Shelby Park Marketing. So, thank you everybody who put it together.
Appreciate it, Sage. We'll talk to you soon.